In this video, I'm going to discuss a couple parts of the mesh record that might be useful to you in trying to determine whether or not a term is applicable to a search you may be doing. Like going back to our example of obesity. You noticed I told you that when you look at the mesh headings, they're returned to you in relevancy order. If you ever want to see the mesh record for one of these, all you have to do is click on the term. When you do so, what you'll notice is there's a couple parts of it that might be important to you. One of them is what is called the scope note, which is the definition or how the term is defined by the database. Different databases have different ways of defining terms, so sometimes this can be useful to you. Another thing you'll see that may be helpful to you in trying to focus your search or decrease the number of articles you get are subheadings, which are different things that you can choose, which help to further focus a search when it comes to a topic. Like genetics. If you were to click genetics here in relationship to obesity, it would just focus on the genetic predisposition maybe that someone has when it comes to being obese. It will also decrease the number of articles you get. Another thing you'll notice is that you'll see what is called restrict to mesh major topic. What this means is you could make the term the major topic of the paper, and what that means to you is in every article, when it comes to assigning mesh terms, what they'll do is there may be 5 of them. Of those 5, what they'll do is they'll choose 2 or 3 to be the major topic of the paper, and therefore that's what the paper is really about. So if you check this, what you'll be doing is ensuring many times that the article is directly talking about what you want, while at the same time decreasing the number of articles you get. You'll see the next thing here is what is called do not include mesh terms found below this term in the mesh hierarchy. What this refers to is what is called exploding. What exploding means is, in this case with obesity, that if you were not to check this box, one of the unique things that PubMed does in comparison to other databases is it automatically explodes terms. Exploding is a way of broadening your search, meaning in this case, if you were not to check that box and allow it to include everything in the hierarchy, it would not only look for obesity, but it would look for every single more specific type of obesity that's underneath it in the tree. Depending on what you're doing, that may or may not be useful to you. And so if you click this, what you're doing is it's going to make it so that you're just looking for one particular term and not allowing the database to broaden your search. You may on occasion also see a set of articles or a set of terms that are called See Also, meaning that the database is alerting you to other terms that might be useful to you. Now remember when I showed you soda pop earlier? The soda pop entry had one specific thing in it that was not available in the obesity entry, and that is that in many of the mesh terms entries or records, you'll notice that they also have what are called entry terms, which means that if any of these terms are used, they'll all be classified under the given mesh term, in this case carbonated beverage. And because soda pop was one of the entry terms here, it is classified under carbonated beverages, so you can be confident that any article that is assigned carbonated beverage as a subject heading will be discussing soda pop or something closely related. And that is the important things to understand when it comes to a mesh record.